Hello and welcome. You're viewing the Citizens Journalist podcast, Mesa County Compass, that brings you the news that you can use from a different point of view. I'm Ruth.
I'm Lisa.
And together we are Mesa County Compass. Our goal is to create an informed, current, active citizenry armed with the facts. We will be covering what's new to you, what it means to you, what you can do about it, and provide you access to the decision makers when we can. Good afternoon. You're here today with Mesa County Compass, and we are today interviewing Miss Mary Redeker. She is a concerned citizen, and she has some things that she has written about to the Daily Sentinel and sent it in to the editor. It has not been published, so we want to get that word out for her. Mary, how did you get started in this?
Well, I guess I'm just really interested in the world around me as far as it's going to affect my kids and my grandkids in the future. And there's so much happening that's negative and that a lot of people don't know about. So I want to get the word out about what's going on in our country and in the world and the plans that are being laid down for us without us really knowing.
And this is very specific to our community, to the city of Grand Junction. And you brought this topic up to us months ago, and you're concerned about 15-minute cities or cities that are designed to just benefit the planet, but not so much the people.
Right.
Making it sustainable for who?
Exactly.
And so we've been following along with this, and our community now has a Sustainability and Adaption Plan, which all comments have to be received by this Friday. And I know that not only have you sent it in to where they say you can participate at engagegj.org, you've sent it to the city council people, and you also sent it to the paper. So now you're sending it to Mesa County Compass viewers.
Yes, we are.
Tell us about what you said.
Okay, well, first of all, I sent this out in 2 sections to the paper, and I haven't sent out the second half of it to the city council yet, but I will. Basically, when I was looking at the sustainability plan, I started seeing echoes of the UN Agenda 21 plan. The verbiage is very similar. The goals are similar. And it just was stunning to me that, how the similarities were. So I said, well, now I have to get to work because this has to be known to people in Grand Junction in the area. So I have right here what I wrote, and I'll just go through what I wrote on and read it, if you can excuse me for reading something. But might have a little explanation in part of it.
Just do it dramatically.
Yes, I will. I'll go slow.
Okay.
Slow and dramatic. Okay. The Sustainability and Adaptability Plan, or SAP, needs more scrutiny by the citizens of Grand Junction. First, this plan lacks transparency. Case in point, while I was attending the open house at Lincoln Park, I spoke to one of the representatives. I asked her where the environmental guidelines for the program are sourced. She told me they were sourced from ICLEI, which stands for the International Council for Local Environmental Incentives. Now, I looked this up online and dug around and found out that as of 5/9 of 2024, ICLEI of Europe says ICLEI was founded in 1990. The council was established when more than 200 local governments from 43 countries convened at the inaugural conference, the World Congress of Local Governments for a Sustainable Future at the United Nations in New York. So we have this whole international, what do you want to call it? Flavor to the ICLEI guidelines, which we are now following in Grand Junction. That's just suspicious to me. I have a source here that shows you where I got this from. And then as of 5/9/2024, ICLEI US website states ICLEI has actively contributed to global sustainable development as part of the local authorities' major group, LAMG, one of 9 major groups formed at the 1992 Earth Summit under Agenda 21 to facilitate local government stakeholder participation in the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. The convention, sorry for the page turning,
Yep.
on biological diversity and the Convention to combat desertification. I think they talk about desertification, if I'm even saying that right. Desertification,
Yeah, I
the
think
drying out of
Right.
lands.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about this, I believe. You might have to check me, but I think they talk about it in the plan. Sustainability, deserted areas. Yes.
They do.
In the SAP plan of Grand Junction. So right here, I think this is telling because they're telling us that it was formed at the Agenda 21, this group that ICLEI was contributing to. So, I mean, there you have it right there. You know, you can say all you want, conspiracy theory, but it's connected. So even though ICLEI denies being part of the UN, it most certainly is working to promote UN ideology. Grand Junction has been a member of ICLEI since 1/10 of 2022, which begs the question, what is being implemented here in Grand Junction under these guidelines? That was one of my major questions. What's going on? Interestingly, when the question about ICLEI was posed on the internet forum, the same representative I spoke to at the open house that confirmed the city was using their guidelines said that the SAP program does not use ICLEI. But she said they did, and they are a member, so I'm thinking they do, right?
Right. Yep. That sounds
reasonable.
reasonable.
I'm
Yeah.
connecting dots, okay? This signals a lack of transparency surrounding the SAP plan because since we are members of ICLEI, the city is clearly using these guidelines.
Exactly.
And I don't know whether we're sending a representative to go to the conference,
Well,
the ICLEI.
I know that
But he got
we
invited.
got open records said that Abe Herman was the one that signed us up for ICLEI, and I know that he also received a email that said, "Oh, don't worry about disinformation about ICLEI being part of the UN." And then he also received an invitation, which I think would be nice to know, to attend the international conference
Right.
in Brazil in June. So is he going? What does he think?
I don't know.
Those he might want to respond to you when you send all of the email in and say, well, what are you
Will you be
doing?
going?
Yeah, will you be going, and
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, so there's clear, you know, and when you just read, if you just read some of Agenda 21 and 2030 and then read the sustainability stuff, it just all, you can tell it's very cohesive. It fits together. The way it's worded, the concepts are there. It's not very well veiled, so if you study everything, you kind of see it.
It doesn't take a college degree
No,
to connect the
no,
dots.
it's kind of connecting the dots. So then what I did was I had another thing that I was going to talk about, which was how they really did not reach the whole community on this thing to give us any information. It was very ill planned. They didn't try to reach as many people as they could to tell us what this was all about. Suddenly now, oh, look at this gigantic plan and try to figure out if you want it. By the way, we're voting on it, when. I'm not exactly sure when. Sometime this summer.
Early summer, yeah.
So they don't tell us when this summer, but sometime. So I said there's approximately 68,137 citizens in Grand Junction. That came off of the SAP website, the sustainability website. So I'm quoting them. And then SAP states, the website states, because of their outreach efforts, a total of 589 community members were heard from regarding this plan. I know they talked to the big businesses in the area and stuff, but citizens that were exposed to this, 589 people, okay? That's less than 1% of the population of Grand Junction that actually made a comment saw the info. This is hardly enough outreach for a plan of this scope and magnitude. Since the citizens and businesses of Grand Junction should be considered the primary stakeholders in this plan, the city should have embarked on a mass media campaign designed to inform the entire community of the plan's details. Instead, the city resorted to displaying QR codes at poorly attended, displaying boards that had QR codes on them at poorly attended events, which took place at limited venues. What's more, there was no objective or scientific approach to gathering public information on this plan. There was no, I didn't
very
see
haphazard.
Haphazard, exactly. Casual, haphazard, limited reach. And then my final thoughts were, before we radically change our way of life in this valley, the citizens and businesses of Grand Junction are entitled to full disclosure about the sustainability plan. We should have more time to digest this information, and the citizens should not be forced to surrender our city to the plans of the international community. So that's what I wrote.
Very good, very interesting. And what I find very interesting, not only that, but connecting the dots again goes back to the Dolores River Plan. All of that seems to be falling under this purview. And even though it seems like such a broad scope, they'll start pulling those strings tighter and tighter and tighter. So we need to be aware of this kind of thing that's happening for our city. And not only does it affect Grand Junction, but it will affect the whole valley, because people do business in Grand Junction. And so I'm so happy that you put this out and you did your research, Mary. And we do have the websites. We can attach those to this Compass broadcast so you can look for yourself and see. It's not just something that was pulled out of the air.
And if you read about it, a lot of this sounds really good, but you have to really get down to the nitty gritty of what is the long range plan here. We're going to be in electric cars, and where is that going to lead? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a good thing for us. And mobility in and out of cities is going to be curtailed. And I know in Canada, Edmonton, Alberta, I think they're charging exorbitant amounts of money just to leave the city now. And they're way ahead of us on all this stuff. So I'm just saying, I'm starting to connect the dots. I don't have all the information, and I don't have everything connected. That's why I'm saying this plan is huge.
Well,
there's more.
You think about that, what they're doing, if you can't even leave the city without being charged a high fee. What is everybody going to do when their children live clear across country, and you want to leave your little town, your little burg, and go visit your children or your grandchildren, or you want them to come see you? Is that going to be possible? And how much further down the line is it going to be before this actually does happen to us? So we need to be aware, and we need to have a voice.
Well, and it's,
go ahead.
In the name of sustainability, which there's so much to unpack here that we can't do right now. But there's so much more to this than just what it looks great on the outside, maybe to people. But no.
Well, just limited costs. Like you think whenever you say, well, we want to do this for the environment, say we have to put EV charging stations in every new home, it makes the new home more expensive. So we're keeping more people from being able to have homes. So we're going to have rentals, and it just is areas where this could be symbolic too.
Yes,
it's not necessarily anything that benefits, and again, it's what we do in Grand Junction is not going to make a difference to the climate in China.
Right.
It's going to make a difference to the lifestyle and the freedoms of the people in Grand Junction.
Freedom is a key word.
It's a key word. It's what this plan is really designed to rein in, and they don't like freedom for us. But like I said, there's a lot to unpack and talk about. Hopefully, little by little, we can get more information out. But
so, Mary, what would you like to see done as a result of what you're working on?
Well, first of all, I'd like to know the opinion of people out there that are watching this, what they think. What are all your questions? Because we've probably brought up a lot of things you maybe didn't hear before, questions you might have. where, maybe where do we get the information? Where are we coming from on this? There's so much to unpack. It's that I have to still distill a lot of things. But I'd like that. I'd also like people to start to study some of this stuff. There are books out there that I can talk about at another time that can provide information and show you the direction that at least the UN wants to take, which is apparently maybe what the cities of the United States want to do. Some of them through the Lead City program, which I haven't talked about today. But so I think that we're headed in a direction that's not looking too great on these things.
Okay.
Very good. Well, we would like to have you back, Mary.
Okay.
Thank you for
Yes.
coming
You're welcome.
and giving us an enlightening glimpse of what is going on. And yes, we would like to have you come back
Great.
with more ammunition.
Okay, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much
You're
for giving me
welcome.
the opportunity.
You're welcome. You've been watching Mesa County Compass. This is the truth as we see it, the facts as we know them. You decide.